And welcome to this week's Illinois Wesleyan Titan Coaches Show. I'm Eric Stock, joined by Dave Barrett, the head women's soccer coach at Illinois Wesleyan. Coach, it's good to have you back.
Morning, Eric. How are you?
Doing well.
Great.
As we wrap up the season, looking back on what was a very good campaign, but of course ending sooner than you would have preferred, making it to the second round of the NCAAs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's always double-edged sword when it comes to the end of a season. I think we look back on it, and on the surface you can certainly see a lot of positive things and a lot of things to be proud of. I think 17 wins was the third most in program history, so that's great. But we look a little further, peeling back the layers, and we were a 500 team against tournament teams. And I think for us to be at the next level, we need to find a way to kind of bring our overall level up. We need some more depth in certain positions, and I think because we just wore down, like on the Sunday, it was just a culmination of 5 or 6 weeks of a lot of grind and a lot of close games, and people wearing down and injuries coming finally all to pass in a way that we didn't want to have happen. So it was a good fall overall, but certainly some work to do as we move forward.
When it seems like a lot of times that's what the postseason comes down to, is that endurance and being able to survive when things may not be going your way, and the team probably is worn down a little bit from a long season.
Yeah, it's the Division III tournaments in every sport are really wars of attrition. The best teams are traditionally also the deepest teams. Not just your starting 11, but your next 7 to 8 players need to be at that level. So realistically, the best teams could pick from 18 field players and pick a starting lineup on any given day. And so we're not there yet, and that's what we need to do by developing our young players and hopefully bringing some people along who can contribute more so than they did this year, and also through the recruiting process and adding in new players who can bring something special to the team.
And still some great moments along the way, including winning in the first round, getting a late goal from Ellie Crabtree to get a 1-goal win and make it to the second round.
Yeah, we played pretty well. Center is a very good team. They're well coached. And we had a good plan, I think, coming into it, and I thought we played effectively, and I thought we deserved to win on that day. And it's a good thrill to win an NCAA game. Certainly, again, the notion of being battle tested is nice and all, but you need to be able to sort of put it into effect going forward. So, we'll graduate only 2 starters and return, I think, 11 or 12 players who started at least 5 or 6 games for us. And that's a nice narrative, but it's also a dangerous narrative if you get sucked into it too much, because you grow complacent, like, well, we've got all these young players, well, naturally we're going to be good, and that's not true. We still have a lot of work and challenges ahead of us going forward. So it's definitely a cautionary tale to say, sure, we've got a lot of young players and we won 17 games with them, but on the other hand, you can't just sort of rest on your laurels.
Sure. Standards are always high.
Absolutely.
And where do you see the team needing to make the most improvement for next year?
Just depth. We need more. We need to improve, like I said, the players we have returning who weren't in the starting lineup, we need to try to bring them along and try to make them into players who will become more useful on the field in the big games, and through recruiting, bringing in new players who are going to be able to compete right away, not necessarily to take a starting spot per se, but to be as good as them, where you can rotate players through, and we need to be able to finish games off better during the course of the year and not let teams hang around. So instead of winning 1-0 on a late goal or 1-0, but we can't find the comfortable lead to kind of open up the bench, like, we need to put teams away earlier and not let teams hang around. And if we can get players we're playing 80 or 90 minutes a game, we can get them an extra 5 or 10 minutes a game, that adds up over the course of the season, and that durability factor comes into play. So,
well, we appreciate the time all season. Congratulations on a very good campaign, and we'll look forward to 2018.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks for everything.